Hi everyone, my name is Daymi Pelaez and we are going to be going over prompts and prompt fading. I am one of the leaders for ABA Exam Academy, so we are going to get started. I'm going to read the disclaimer really quick. The ABA Exam Academy was created by and for students to earn their BCBA, BCABA certification. Most of the leaders and participants are not a BCBA or BCABA at this time. These meetings are meant to have active discussions, to collaborate, ask questions, and provide helpful suggestions to better understand the BACB 4th edition task list concepts. Due to this, it is important to know that all viewers and participants are responsible to verify the accuracy of the information being provided in order to successfully prepare for the BCBA, BCABA exam. So some ethical considerations we have is as always, you always have to refrain from sharing any test questions from the actual exam. So from the actual BCBA, BCABA exam that you take, you cannot share those at any time ever. Also, make sure that you do not share any type of paid resources or identifiable client information. And then lastly, if you do give anything from an open source, a peer-reviewed article or book, make sure to give credit to the author. Okay, so on the agenda, I'm basically going to be defining and describing what prompts and prompt fading is, compare and contrasting them, and we're going to do some matching with AKAs, matching with vocab, true and false questions throughout, and mock questions at the end. All right, my references came directly from the Cooper 2nd edition book. That's basically all the information, and I have page numbers for you. If you want to open up your book, you can do so. All right, so we're going to start, as always, with AKAs, because I figure this is something that's memorization. So you either know it or you don't, and then if you don't know it, that's okay. Just make sure that you practice these so we can make sure that we know them for the actual exam. So we're going to start them from the left side. We're going to start with most to least and then match it on the right-hand side.
So most to least would be maximum to minimum.
Perfect, nice job. Next one is fading.
Stimulus fading.
I agree.
Perfect. And the next one is shape.
Stimulus shaping.
Stimulus shaping, good job. Delayed prompting.
Delayed prompting.
Is that it?
Delayed prompting.
Delay queuing.
Yeah, delayed prompting to delayed prompting.
Oh, I don't know.
It's delayed queuing.
Oh,
I can see.
oh, you got us.
Okay. Progressive delay.
Delayed prompting.
Delayed prompting.
Yes. I purposely put that there because I was like, I knew I had to throw you guys off a little bit, not too much, but there you go.
So would then they all be kind of AKs for each other then, like delayed prompting, progressive delay, and then delayed queuing?
Exactly.
Good question. Yeah.
Those three, yes, they are. But I purposely put it in there to see if you guys got confused a little bit, but you guys did great. Least to most, last one.
Minimum to maximum.
Nice job. All right, we're gonna move on. All right, so we're gonna start with what is a prompt. So this is on page 401 to 402 on the Cooper book. What is a prompt? I'm gonna read it out. Prompts are supplementary antecedent stimuli used to occasion a correct response in the presence of an SD that will eventually control the behavior. So can anyone tell me what are the two types of prompts?
Response prompts and stimulus prompts.
Perfect. Nice job, Yudi. Okay, so this is a simplified definition of what I just read. Simplified definition for a prompt is a hint or reminder designed to set the occasion for a desired response. So make sure that you remember that where it says that it needs to occasion a desired response. Okay, so what can you tell me about what I just said? What does that mean?
If it doesn't occasion a prompt, then if it doesn't occasion a response, the correct response, then it was never a prompt.
Perfect. Thank you, Rita. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. All right, so when should prompts be provided? When?
Should be before the SD.
Before or during, before the response or during the response?
Perfect. So it is before, but it's also during, so both. Okay? So it is before or during a response, not after. It should only be provided in the acquisition phase of learning for novel responses. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So first true and false question. A BCBA should provide prompts after a response. True or false?
False.
False.
I think we're pretty consistent with that one. False. All right. It is false. So prompts should be provided before or during a response. Always remember that. Good job, guys. All right, we're going to move on to response prompt. This is page 402 on Cooper. It says, what is a response prompt? A response prompt acts on the response itself, not on the antecedent stimuli. So what are the three major forms of response prompts?
Verbal, modeling, and physical prompt.
Yes, perfect, Minerva. Verbal instruction, modeling, and physical guidance. So what you said is basically another way to say it, but it is those three. Good job. So explain or give an example. Does anybody want to be brave enough to give me either an explanation or an example of these three? Or one, or if anybody wants to take one at a time. It's up to you guys.
Verbal instruction is basically what it means. So if you say clean your room, you know, that would be a verbal instruction.
Perfect. Does anybody want to give one on modeling? What does that look like?
I'll go for it.
Okay.
So for modeling, it's like if you place the instruction clean up and you model how to go ahead and clean up, which allows them to then do the responsive cleaning up correctly.
Okay, so when we model for them, what do we do? Do we do it for them or do we act it out?
We act it out.
Act it out.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So how about with physical guidance? Does anyone want to give?
It's like
I'll
hand
go.
over hand.
Hands over hands or just.
Okay. So
Yeah, like learning to wash your hands or brush your teeth.
Okay, so I'm hand over hand, but could it also be minimal?
Yeah, partial.
Yes.
Partial.
Partial,
physical
minimal.
Perfect. All right. All right, so basically what you guys said, verbal is vocal or non-vocal, so make sure you know that. It can be either vocal or non-vocal. Modeling is demonstrating the way we do it, so acting something out, like we talked about. And then physical prompting can be minimal physical prompts, moderate physical prompts, or full physical prompts, which is also known as hand over hand. Does anyone have any questions about those?
Nope.
Do you understand what I'm saying when I say vocal or non-vocal?
You can use sign language.
Perfect. Good job. All right. All right. Signing. Thanks. Signing is considered a verbal prompt. True or false?
True.
True.
True. Good job. Non-vocal prompts are a form of communication and are considered to be a verbal prompt. I have heard so many people saying that pointing is not verbal. It is verbal. Things that are either, even though it's not vocal, it is still considered verbal because it's a way of communication.
Or when somebody say, oh, the child is nonverbal.
Non-verbal, yes. I've heard that a lot.
That hurts me so much.
I know. But we behavior analysts, we know that, but it's okay. So teaching for everyone. All right, so stimulus prompts, that's page 403 on Cooper. What is a stimulus prompt? A stimulus prompt acts on the antecedent stimuli, not on the actual response. So can anyone tell me what are the three major forms of stimulus prompts?
Movement, position,
And
redundancy.
So I heard movement, position, and what else?
Redundancy. I cannot pronounce that one.
Redundancy, yes.
Redundancy.
We're movement, position,
Good
and
job.
redundancy. Perfect, guys. You guys are working together, but you guys got this. All right, explain or give an example of the 3. So basically what we did last time, let's try to break it down and see if we know all of these. Movement, who knows that? What it is?
That one is touching or pointing to the item.
So movement is more moving an item, right?
To bring more attention to
Right,
you
so
know.
if you show 3 cards and you move the actual card closer, that's movement. I think I've also heard of pointing, but it's like a subtle point. It's not tapping or anything like that. It's just kind of putting your finger on top of it. And then positional is putting it in a position that it calls their attention more. Does anyone know what redundancy is? Because that one is it's a little bit more difficult.
Well, redundancy is when when you make the particular let's say card, for instance, a card of a car, when you make it more poignant, the word I'm trying to spit it out.
I heard the word salient. Is that part of that?
Yeah,
salient.
When you make the stimulus more salient, more characteristic, and characteristic more salient. For example, colors, color, size, or shape, or something.
Perfect.
So think of it like emojis, for instance. When you write some LOL, but then you put, emojis that makes it, stand out. So that's redundancy.
That's a good example. I like the emoji example. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. You guys did great. So movement is touch or tap. Position is placing an item closer to the client than the other items. So you're just placing it a lot closer. That way they go for it. Is more likely for them to go for that one. Redundancy is we change the dimensions of the stimulus and they are paired with the correct response. So basically what I put is pairing the color green with the correct and red with the incorrect. All right, does anybody have any examples about that before I move on? Okay, we're good. All right. True and false. A teacher tells her student, write your name, and then points at the sheet of paper, but the client refuses to initiate the task. In this scenario, are the teacher's behaviors considered prompts? True or false?
False.
No, so false.
So 2 for false. Anyone else?
False.
All right, false. Perfect. It is only a prompt if what we say or do prompts the desired response. Very good, guys. All right, so we're going to be doing matching just to figure out if we know and we can identify what falls under stimulus prompts and what falls under response prompts. So who wants to tell me stimulus fading, what does it fall under?
A stimulus prompt.
Stimulus prompt.
Perfect. Graduated guidance.
Response prompt.
Response prompt.
It's, yeah.
Oh
my God, I confused with.
It's okay. We're learning. Least to most.
Response prompt.
Response prompt.
Perfect. Stimulus shape transformation.
Stimulus
prompt.
Redundancy.
Delayed prompting.
Would that be response prompt?
Response prompt.
Yes. Most to least.
Response
prompt.
I heard someone say stimulus and one say response. What do you guys think?
Response.
Perfect. Awesome. Very good. All right. We're going to do some vocab. Let's see if you guys know this. First one on the left-hand side, and we're going to match with the words on the right. Acts on the antecedent stimuli and has 3 forms: movement, position, and redundancy. Which one is that?
Stimulus
prompt.
Perfect. supplementary antecedent stimuli that are introduced to evoke a desired response when the discriminative stimulus is evident.
Prompt.
Prompt.
Nice. Instructional methods specifically designed to prevent or substantially minimize any learner errors that are used to teach particular discriminations.
Errorless
learning.
Perfect. Acts on the response itself and has three forms: verbal, modeling, and physical prompting.
Response prompt.
Does anybody know why I put the word errorless learning in this matching?
Yes, I think so.
Go for it.
Yeah, because errorless learning is a particular prompts because we use full physical prompt to evoke the correct response from the learner.
Perfect. So yeah, we use errorless learning. It's an actual strategy that provides a lot of prompting so that we can make the learner successful. So yes, that's why I put it in there. It was an extra vocab word that I wanted to put in because it relates to prompting. So there you go. All right, so now we're going to compare and contrast response prompts and stimulus prompts. So let me take out my little cheat sheet. Okay, can anyone tell me which one of these two acts on the response itself?
Response prompt.
Wow, Minerva, good job. You were very fast.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, acts on the response itself, and then stimulus prompts acts on the antecedent stimuli. Perfect. All right, who can tell me which one of these calls attention to the stimulus?
Stimulus
Prompt.
Stimulus prompt, very good. Calls attention to the stimulus, and then response prompts actually helps the learner. I'm sorry, put the wrong thing there.
I like how.
I'm sorry.
I like how in response prompt, the first one, there's response in it, and then in stimulus prompt, there's stimulus in it.
Yes, I know. All right, so this one is actually helps the learner. Sorry about that. Okay, so then the next one. Tell me which one of these includes movement, position, and redundancy.
Stimulus prompt.
Correct. So movement, position, and redundancy goes under stimulus prompts, and verbal modeling and physical prompting goes under response prompts. And then lastly, which one of these, this is a little bit more difficult, which one of these has 4 ways to remove it?
Response prompt.
Response prompt.
Perfect. I was trying to make it different than what we usually do. So 4 ways to remove it, and this one has 2 ways to remove it. Wow, this was great, guys. So basically, this is a chart that shows the differences between both. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions about this?
No.
No? Okay. All right, next question. In the mall, there is a written sign that says the word bathroom. You follow the sign and go to the bathroom. Is this a stimulus prompt? True or false?
The sign is usually response.
I think it's response prompt.
So you think it's response. So we have 2 for response. Anyone else?
Response.
Response, okay. So then would it be false or true?
Is this a stimulus prompt?
In this case, it's false.
False. Okay, so it is false. Even though it is written, it is still considered verbal, so it would fall under response prompt. Good job. All right, so we're going to talk about ways to fade response prompts. This is on page 403 to 404 on Cooper. What are the 4 ways to remove response prompts?
Most to least.
Least to most. Full physical and graduated.
So it's
partial.
Okay,
sorry.
So yes,
Time delay.
most to least and least to most is correct.
Graduated guidance and time delay.
Perfect. Okay, so it's graduated guidance and delayed prompting, which I think it's an AKA for time delay. Good. Then can anyone explain or give me an example of these 4? If not, that's okay, I'll do it. I just want to see if you guys can talk about it.
The most to list is when you start fully, like full physical, like literally holding the student's, for instance, hand and, holding their hand to perform the response.
Perfect.
Where least to most is maybe just a tap or on the elbow to occasion them to move their hand and perform the response.
So between both of those, what you do is it's kind of like the opposite, but you increase or decrease gradually, correct?
Mhm.
Right.
Right. And how about with graduated guidance and delayed prompting?
We start with the minimum physical prompt, and then to evoke to get the correct response from the learner.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to reduce, or gradually we are going to remove the prompt. For the typical example is we start moving our hands or physical prompt from wrist, elbow, shoulder, and then we move back from the learner.
Perfect. So with graduated guidance, this is just an extra question I'm throwing out there, can it be verbal or does it have to be all physical?
I think it's
No physical.
I've never heard it as verbal.
Perfect. So it's all physical. You cannot give any verbal when you're working on graduated guidance. All right. How about delayed prompting? Does anyone know?
So delayed prompting is when you allow the learner, give them a little bit of time to perform the response. Otherwise, you would move in and prompt them and help them out.
Okay. That's good, Rita. Someone else said something? Does someone else want to share?
Delayed prompting, in my own words, delayed prompting acts like an IRT. So we present the stimulus, we wait until we wait for the learner response, and then if there is no response, we provide the prompts. And then we are going to, in order to fade the prompts, we are going to increase the time between a stimulus and prompt until we get the correct, independent and correct response from the learner.
Perfect. That's good. Good job, guys. I love your explanation. All right, so with most to least, basically it's what you guys said. It begins with a more intrusive prompt that evokes the behavior and gradually decreases the less intrusive prompts. With least to most is basically opposite. It begins with less intrusive prompts and gradually increases to more intrusive prompts until results are achieved. Okay, so like we talked before, it's not considered a prompt unless you get results. So just keep that in mind. With graduated guidance, you use the minimal amount of physical prompting, like you said, Yudi, good job, and needed to occasion results, and then you gradually reduce using physical prompts. Delayed prompting, you insert time delays between the SD and the prompt to fade and eliminate prompts in its entirety. So basically the purpose behind delayed prompting is so that we can just eliminate those prompts little by little. Does anybody have questions of any of these? You have time to go over it if you need to.
I have a question. Is delayed prompting the same as a time delay prompt?
Yes, they're AKAs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So with that, we're going to talk about the other one, ways to eliminate stimulus prompts. Okay, so that's page 405 on Cooper. What are the 2 ways to remove stimulus prompts?
Is stimulus fading?
Okay.
And shaping?
Yes.
Stimulus shape transformation.
Transformation?
Yes, so there's many AKAs for these. There's just fading and shaping. There's stimulus fading, stimulus shaping, and then there's the transformation one as well. So it's good to know all these AKAs, because if they give you this on the exam and you don't know what the transformation one is, then you're not going to know the answer. That's why AKAs are so important. I can't stress that enough. All right, so give an example of an ABA procedure that uses both most to least prompting and fading. Does anyone know? We talked about it before. That's just a hint. It starts with an E.
Errorless learning.
Yes, errorless learning. And that is basically the reason I put it in there, so I can give you guys a hint. So, errorless learning. So it uses a lot of prompting. We're giving that most to least prompting, and then little by little, we're going to fade all of that out. All right, so that is a perfect example of how we can eliminate stimulus prompts or response prompts, both. All right, so explain or give an example of these two terms, fading and shaping. Can anyone tell me?
Fading.
So fading is when you gradually reduces the amount of I would say support.
It's fading like when you're teaching to write their name.
Right, that too.
Like you put like a highlighter and then they go over that and then you remove the highlighter.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
Or with positioning, we, for example, we put the letters. We want the students' picks, and then we are going to put in the letter back until the letter is in the same line with the rest of the alphabet or the array or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, good job. That's perfect. How about with shaping?
Shaping is basically when let's say you want to teach a child how to, let's say, throw a baseball, for instance.
Right.
Okay. So they would throw like one foot, and then, I'm thinking in terms of like changing criterion.
Right.
Then, you shape it so that they can throw a little further than that, a little further than that, a little further than that, until, they become perfect in throwing.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. And then we can also do it by writing examples. I think with getting a shape of an object, I've seen like pictures of an actual car and writing the word car inside until we fade the picture of the car out, and then they start reading the word car. I've also seen that. Okay, so my explanations of stimulus fading is gradual removal of intrusive prompts until the control transfers to a natural stimulus. So this is a maximal to minimal to foster independence. So that's the point of stimulus fading. It's going from maximum to minimum so that we can have independence. And then with stimulus shaping, it has gradual transformation of the physical shape of the stimulus, and it alters to become the natural SD over time. So what we talked about with the car, the picture of the car, putting the word car inside until you slowly remove the car so that the child can either read the word car or write the word car. Does anybody have any questions about this?
Good job. Straight to the point.
Yes, I just give you the information. All right, so my question. All of the following are ways to remove, oh, that's just great. What happened here? Anyways, all of the following are ways to remove response prompt except A, most to least prompting, B, least to most prompting, C, gradient guidance, or D, delayed prompting.
C.
I have one C.
C.
C. One more.
C.
Awesome. Yes, C. Why is it C?
It's not, there's no such thing.
What is it?
There's no such thing as gradients guidance.
What should it be? What should it be?
Graduated.
Graduated guidance. Perfect. All right. The cartoon word world is an example of what way to remove stimulus prompts. A, delayed prompting. B, stimulus fading. C, graduated guidance. Or D, stimulus shaping. So I don't know if you see the image or if you know what word world is, but I can explain it to you if you guys don't know. It's basically cartoons are, let's say the bear is an actual bear and it has the word bear on it. So what type of stimulus, removal of stimulus prompts is that?
Fading.
Stimulus fading.
Stimulus shaping.
Shaping.
Shaping, yes, shaping.
Because it has the word inside or
Of the bear.
on the bear.
Right. So I don't know if you guys see the picture of the cave in the back. The cave is actually
Yeah, I can see
spelled,
cave and table.
right. The cave is actually spelled with the letters with cave, and then the table is actually spelled with the letters of table. Perfect. Yes, it is D, stimulus shaping.
Stimulus shaping.
Nice job, guys. All right, so that's the end of my meeting. Remember to like, share, and subscribe and communicate. The website is abaexamacademy.com. If you have any questions or concerns, email us at leaders@abaexamacademy.com. And then also, if you guys need tutoring, remember we offer that. Take advantage of it. I know that a lot of people, once they get closer to their testing date, they're asking for it. So just schedule it and reserve your spots. Okay, guys? Have a good night, and thank you for participating.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
I have a quick question if you have time.
Yeah, let me just